Are you new to fishing and having trouble picking out a new fishing reel? Well, stay tuned. We're going to help you make a decision. Well, if you're planning to go fishing, at some point, you're going to have to buy a fishing reel. And if you're new to catching fish, well, that decision can be really tough. Looking at all the choices out there, it can be really intimidating for a new angler. But the good news is, there's only 3 basic types of fishing reels. Put in simple terms, fishing reels go from very basic in operation to very complex in operation. And they go from very, very affordable to outrageously expensive. What we're gonna do is start at the bottom of the price and complexity range, and we're gonna take a look at the 3 different reels, go over some of the strong points and the bad points for each of them, and in the end, we're gonna try to figure out which reel is best for you. Well, one of the first fishing reels that you will probably ever be exposed to, even as a kid, is gonna be a spin casting reel. If you've ever seen a Barbie rod or a Batman fishing rod, these have a spin casting reel on them. Now they put these simple design reels on there because they are very easy for a person to learn to cast and to use. Now don't worry, you're not gonna have to fish with a Barbie or a Batman reel. These are a very simple version of a little more complex and better design reel that plenty of adults fish with their entire life. These reels are very simple to use, and most of all, they're very affordable for somebody just getting into fishing. You can get into one of these reels for around 15 bucks, and most of them don't go over $50. Now, what is it about these reels that makes them so desirable? Well, the biggest thing is the push button casting. All you have to do is push a button, rear back, sling the rod, and when it gets to the 10 o'clock position, let go of the button, and line, lure, bait, flies off the reel. There's no line to hold. You don't have to stop the spool from spinning with your thumb. It's a very simple, basic operation that anybody can learn to do in just minutes. While most of these reels are designed for smaller fish, panfish, bluegill, brim, that type thing, there are some bigger ones. They make an 888 version, Zebco does, and it's capable of landing 20, 30, 40, even 50-pound fish. All in all, the spin casting reel is a great reel for somebody just starting out or somebody that's been fishing for a long time. Now moving up a notch in price and ease of use is the spinning reel. Now spinning reels offer an open spool configuration. They offer more drag and greater casting distance than the spin casting reel. Now, they're not as easy to cast as a spin casting reel, but even a kid can figure out how to use one in just a few minutes. Now, one of the big things about a spinning reel is how much drag you can put on a fish with a relatively small reel. For you guys that are new to fishing, that's probably not as big a deal as it is to somebody that's been fishing longer, but it's something that is a very positive trait in this reel. One of the great things about spinning reels is the wide range of sizes that are available, from 1,000 series that you'd use to catch bluegill and brim, all the way up to a 7, 8, 9,000 series that you can use offshore saltwater fishing for much larger fish. Overall, a spinning reel is going to give you a lot of versatility and a lot of range and be well suited for somebody that's a beginner or for somebody that's been fishing a while. Now, the next reel that we're going to discuss is probably the most basic in operation of any of the reels, and that's a bait casting reel. Now, a bait casting reel is probably something that you would see in an old movie like Jaws, where there's this big round reel with this big spool and you're cranking and winching the line onto this spool. The problem with this whole setup is that spool turns. Unlike a spin casting reel and a spinning reel, where the spool is in a fixed position and the line is pulled off of it. What this means is when you cast it, the spool is spinning on a bait casting reel. And what that means is you have to stop it when your line hits the water. What happens if you don't stop it? The line keeps on traveling, and it's traveling at a slower speed than the spool is. What this results in is a tangled mess of line that fishermen affectionately call a bird's nest. Once you learn to cast a bait casting reel, you cannot beat the performance that you will get from one of these reels. Now, one of the biggest selling points for a bait casting reel is how far you can cast one. They will outcast a spinning reel or a spin casting reel. Because that spool is spinning and there's relatively very little drag, these things will throw a long way. Also, another big selling point is line capacity. They hold a lot more line, especially when you get into the bigger size of these reels. Just like the spinning reels, they come in a wide range of sizes, but on the upper end, these reels can get huge. Whenever you watch Wicked Tuna or any of these offshore fishing shows, that's what these guys are using to catch these massive fish. Now, these reels start out slightly higher in price at around 40 bucks, but the upper end on these things can be close to $2,000. Luckily for most people, you can get into a very good reel in the $40 to $60 range. So with all these options and all these choices, which one is going to be right for you? Well, if you're a new angler and you're only fishing a few days in the summertime, maybe while you're on vacation or over visiting the in-laws, a spin casting reel is probably a wise choice for you. They'll be easy for you to master, easy for you to figure out, easy for you to teach your kids how to use them, and because they're so affordable, if you drop one in the lake, you're really not out that much money. The other great thing is they're readily available at any Walmart or sporting goods store. Also, you can order them on Amazon and have them delivered to you the next day. I'll put you some links down in the description of some reels that I like. Now, if you're doing a little more than just some summer vacation angling, you might want to upgrade to a spinning reel. While they won't necessarily catch more fish, they may give you more options in where you can fish and how far you can cast. In my opinion, even for a beginning angler, somebody just starting out, this can be an excellent reel to start out with. Now, for some folks, you're going to be committed to fishing. You're really going to enjoy it, and you're going to need maybe more line capacity for bigger fish, or you may be stuck on the bank somewhere where you're limited in your water access and you need a lot of casting ability. For you folks, making an investment in a bait casting reel will be worth it. Now, while a spinning reel will catch the same fish that a bait casting reel will catch, there are some perks that the more serious anglers may want and like in a bait casting reel. Generally speaking, these reels hold their value longer, especially when you go with some of the higher end Swedish-made Abu Garcia reels. Another perk of buying these reels is that most of them can be repaired relatively easy. Parts are more readily available for these reels than they are with some of the spinning reels, and especially the spin casting reels. The bottom line is this for you guys that are just starting out. You're not going to make a bad choice if you go with a spinning reel or a spin casting reel. Time on the water with family, friends, or just by yourself is far more important than any of the tackle that you choose. So get out on the water and go fishing. Well, folks, if you made it this far, thank you for watching. Here are a couple more videos that I think you're gonna like. I'd watch that one and then that one. No, do that one first and then that one. I don't know, just watch them both. They're both good.